And welcome back to the Corbellic Studios. I'm Corbellic. We're going to be knocking out some flowers today, some beautiful flower arrangements. I mean, who doesn't love flowers, right? Everybody loves flowers, especially when it comes to permanent flowers that you can have in your kitchen, you can have in your hallway, you can have it in the bathroom. I mean, I always love flower paintings in the bathroom for some reason. I mean, it just makes it so beautiful. They're just, so quaint. All right. So have fun with them. They don't have to be details and they don't have to be so much. I mean, you can do whatever you want really when it comes to flowers. There's no rules. There's no rules to art. You know what we always say? If I can do it, you can do it. I didn't go to art school. You don't have to have experience in this because we're all experienced. We all come from the creator. The creator's inside of us. From within comes without. All right. So it's inside of us, just like when we were kids. We have fun. I don't know what I'm doing when I'm showing up on here, but that's why I'm so amazed by how beautiful this turns out. And we flip it out, put it on eBay, and then whatever's supposed to happen happens. If you want to learn how you can make this happen for yourself, I was able to sell 17,000 original paintings online on eBay just alone. And you want to learn how you can do that for yourself, start making the sales as early as next week. Join our mastermind Q&A sessions. That's every Sunday. Click the link below. Let's get into these beautiful flowers, right? You can do this yourself. All right, look, this is our flowers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a background color first, which is going to be maybe a pink, cream, something like that. And that way we could just at least have our background here. But it's also easier for me to build layers onto it so the canvas has tooth, because it's kind of dry right now. These always come a little bit dry, all right? I don't like to deal with gesso because I'm not in my gallery days, all right? The gallery days when I would do gesso first and let it dry and maybe add an extra layer of gesso. And then I would film myself do it and have a behind the footage scene just so I could show it to people on Instagram that I'm a serious artist and that I take the process so serious. Like I would make behind the scene footage just of me doing gesso, simple stuff like that. Like keeping up with that stuff is so difficult. That's why I say when in this program, what's so cool is that you don't have to have the whole Instagram, Facebook, and keep up with the social media to do this. You don't have to have experience to do this. And you don't have to have any kind of social media, all that. I haven't had social media in 5 years. I got away with playing all those algorithm games and tricks and doing all of that silly stuff because I didn't have a real audience. I didn't have a real people who were generated or who gravitated towards my artwork, who was buying my artwork, who really believed in it. Here, we have such a better community. We have such a better support system. But here in Instagram, none of those people I thought I was doing these behind the scenes shots of me spending hours on gesso, just a white canvas. I'm doing stuff like that, showing that I'm a serious artist here. Look at this, guys. Look at that. No, those days is over with. I feel so good now. I feel alive how I create art, and you can feel alive too because you know it feels good when you're just loose and you're letting the art come out of you instead of what you're pretending that you're supposed to be. All right, let me dry this off right now. We can just go with our background, with our colors, with the dark colors at least. All right. This is our heat gun right here. Get one for your studio if you don't have one. All right, there we go. That's what I love working with acrylic. It just dries so easy and we're on to the next thing. I mean, I can't believe there used to be years even when I was in my eBay days starting off, there was years that I was painting without a heat gun. And I would just wait for it to dry so I could get on to the next layer. Wait for it to dry so I get on the next layer. I don't have time for that. Time is money. We're just getting through it and on to the next one. Could you imagine waiting around for something to dry? I don't know how I was able to do that. I'm telling you, that's why you came in at the best time to learn all the secrets, all the tricks, everything that I had to learn for 7 years. You get it compact, all in the program. You get everything in the program that I've learned over the past 7 years, and you get everything step by step. There's no guessing game. 7-day, no, actually a 14-day activity for you to do so that way you can start making your first sales. No guessing game or anything like that. Everything is broken down for you. You don't have to do any kind of, oh, well, I got to do this homework. I don't know what step is first. Everything is broken down for you. So simple. I wish I had something like that. Well, I do have something. That's why I built it. So that I'm basically talking to my previous self. I always say that in these videos. The reason I did these videos and the reason that I did my courses to help my previous self, but also help my future self, so I can look back on these things of how far I came, but also be a guiding light to my past self. Be the mentor that I didn't have, because I needed a mentor and I didn't have it. I had to figure it out on myself. And the reason I had to figure it out on myself is because I didn't have I burned the ships per se. I wasn't a good employee, but I'm a good business person for myself. And I wasn't able to go back per se. I wasn't able to go back and say, hey, can I get my job back? I burned the ships. So I burned the bridges. I burned all the bridges in the past. I didn't burn it awfully. I just made sure that I quit, and I made where it was like, I made it known that I was going to pursue my art and I was done with corporate America. And when you're like that, they frown upon that, because you can't be somebody where you're going to believe in yourself and work in corporate America. Corporate America only works on people who are like robots, kind of. Get straight A's, go to college, 30-year mortgage, do the right thing. Yes, sir, no, sir. But then when you come in there and you have your own mind, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to do this for myself. I believe in myself. What? Believe in yourself? To this day, I never forget. And it was still kind of like daunting, but I had the proof to myself. I already had the proof that eBay was working for me. And before I quit my job, I remember it was like my last meeting that I was in, and it was on Zoom because it was during the pandemic. And one of my other coworkers, he was like giving an example where he was doing some teaching of a PowerPoint presentation about organization, and the 48 rules of power, but also organizing your life and whatever, blah blah blah. And he was like, well, yeah, you got to be organized with your life, like Corbellic must be, because he's quitting a job and he must be really organized in his business. But how he said it, though, I don't know if it was being sincere, but how I took it is that it was condescending to be like, because it's not normal for people to just quit their job and be like, oh, I'm going to do my own career. It's like, oh, you're being irresponsible. That's how society looks at it. That's nothing that they would do. Oh, I'm doing the safe route. I'm putting numbers in for the corporation. And me, here I am. I couldn't do it. I quit. But how it was coming off was like, well, you got to be organized with your numbers, just like Corbellic, because he's quitting, so he must be organized with his business if he's quitting. He said it like that, and I just took it like, and I was still early. I was still early in Facebook, or I was still early on eBay, right, in my career. But you know how life is, where you still got the butterflies in your stomach to be like, damn, am I making the right choice? Like, he might be actually right. I'm still early where I'm not. There's so many lessons about life that I didn't learn yet, not just about eBay, but about frequency. And I was still kind of going off his frequency to be like, oh, maybe I'm making the wrong choice, but there was no turning back then. I couldn't say at that moment, oh, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going about this in the wrong way, you guys. I want my job back. How would that look? They can't trust you then. You exposed yourself. What you gonna do? You want your job back? Nah, you're not getting no job back. You already exposed yourself that you want to leave and that you believe in yourself. They know that if you get an opportunity again, you're just going to quit on them. You're a liability at that point. They know what's inside of your heart. If you're in business with yourself, I always tell people, don't tell the company that you're an artist or what your dreams and aspirations are, because they see what's inside of your heart and they can play it up against you. They're not your friends. They're going to use it against you. No, they're not. They're my friends. My coworkers and I, we've known each other for 20 years and we go to lunch together. Yeah, right. If it came down to between them and you, they'd sell you out in a heartbeat. Not my Billy, not my job. You don't know them. Corbellic, you're wrong. All right. But I had the proof because I knew the numbers and I seen the numbers, what was coming in. I was making the money and I was making it work for me. But I remember that comment where it was like, I'm like, dang, am I making the right decision? What if it doesn't work for me? Because you know how life is, right? Life is like, you hope, like there's so many avenues where, and so many business things that you've done. I've started so many different businesses that failed. This isn't my only business, you know. Even now, this isn't my only business. But this taught me how to be successful in my other businesses. But even prior to that, I've had other businesses that I tried, and I spent so much money on ads and coaching and things like that, and none of them worked out. So you know how life is, where you're all in on something, and then it doesn't work for you. And even though you tried hard and you might have a good heart about it and good intentions, it didn't work for you because that wasn't your path, and you couldn't force that. Maybe it was led to something else. But I was like, in my mind, I burned the bridges. There's no going back. But I was still kind of like young in my mind to be like, I don't know if I'm really making the right decision. Maybe they're right. But maybe also that put a battery in my back to say, there's no going back. And how dare, like, bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Nobody pays you like you pay yourself. That's one of the best things that I heard in the early 2000s, and it just stuck to me. And what it means is that you could have a corporate job where they promise you that you have the safety net. You have a good job. Oh, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. You have a good job. You have health insurance where you can get benefit card, where you can go to TGIF Fridays and get 25% off. Like, they always try to make it seem like these things are great reasons to keep your job. And they don't even mean anything nowadays because insurance is still expensive. It's all the same stuff. It doesn't mean anything. Oh, you get $5 off coupon at your dental office. That's why you got a job. Yeah, you like things that don't even mean anything. Let's turn the lights on. And they always throw these things in there for reasons to keep your job and to be a good boy. Maybe those benefits, and like, think about this. Remember, have you ever heard of fringe benefits? That sound like those are things from the 80s. Like, when was the last time you ever got a position or a job and they said you're going to get fringe benefits? No, instead you get benefits of what they say are benefits, but they're not benefits. They're things that the company picked out and they upsell it like they are benefits, but they're not. Fringe benefits back in the day were supposed to be like, you get stock options, you get you get your own corner office, you get like all kinds of like elite things. And there is no fringe benefits nowadays. So don't get trapped into the idea, especially when we're going into 2026, that the safe route is your job, because it's not. The safe route is doing eBay. The safe route is having your own business, because your job is to lay you off tomorrow, and that's just the more riskier thing ever. I would be paranoid if I worked for a company nowadays. They could just get rid of me, and then what? What do I have to fall on? I could have been bringing something home real to myself. Look at this. You know what's real? This painting is real. Real beautiful. That's what it is. All right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw like a line. You know, I love these border lines like this, right? Let's draw another border line like this. Draw something like that. And then to make it pop, let's add our white in here. Trust me, you got to add the white freckles and when it comes to these arrangements, you gotta add a little bit of there, like that, and like that. Our Bob Ross, okay? You gotta do the spickle spackle. Yeah, the spickle spackles. And then there we go, right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful painting. Lord, look at that painting. And we just did this together, right? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I want this in my bathroom, okay? When I'm in the shower, I want to look over at this. This is beautiful. Look, if I can do this, you can do this. And we did this together. I'm running my mouth and I'm not even thinking about it. All right, I'm talking and we're just having a good time. You could put this up on eBay. We did this in such a short period of time. On to the next painting. We flip this painting and we make a quick profit out of it. But also we're building up the sales conversion rate. If you want to learn how you can build up your own sales conversion rate, which we call the snowball effect, click the link below, join us in the eBay art community so you can learn how you can do this. Join us this Sunday on the Q&A meetings where we have personal Q&A coaching. And it's just so many gems that's dropped in there, all right? But I'm gonna check you out on the next video. This was fun, all right.